So just a reminder, this one's going to be recorded. The ones next week that are the client hand holding will not be recorded because it's obviously actual data instead of all my dummy data that I have. So just enter full screen. Okay, so today we're talking about appointment reminders, the calendar system, and I'm sorry, appointment scheduling, the calendar system, and reminders. So let's just look at the calendar really fast. There are a few new updates that we've had. So within your account my information, if you go to the access section and you have either Google or Office 365 calendars, it's now a two-way sync. So it will go back and forth between, I think, let me do this one, this demo account. It's going to go back and forth between your Radius calendar and your Google and back and forth. So you'll want to set a generic, or you'll want to set a task category for the ones that are created in Google so you know which are which. And then you can easily filter. And I'm going to show you the calendar soon about how to filter. But you'll choose the calendar that you want to select here in this one. If it says no synchronization, it means that there's no synchronization. So just make sure you choose the calendar because, you know, you always have those like holidays and birthdays and things like that. I would recommend choosing generic task, or you could even create a task category of Google Calendar, whatever you want to do. You're going to sync to this Google Calendar, then you'll set your default calendar, and then you'll push all existing tasks and reminders only from about a week before. So it's not going to pull in things that you did like in January. It's only going to pull things into your Google Calendar that were from a week ago and vice versa. Actually, no, I should clarify. It will pull things from Radius a week ago into your Google Calendar, and in the Google push into Radius, it will only do forward going tasks. So things that are newly created. Good. Also, Nikki, yes, you should have received your invites for the next week sessions if you're a client, which I know you are. So check your email and just email me and I'll resend you the link, or just put it in the help app that you need the work session RSVP links. Okay. So this is the two-way sync. Same thing for Office 365. I just don't have an example to show you. I'm going to remove this link. So why do I say have that generic task within the calendar? I personally think it's because it makes it easier for you to filter. So if you're like, I don't want to see all my Google stuff, you could then just sort your calendar. I like this calendar list view. This is a normal calendar view that you would usually see, right? But here on this list, if you've got a lot of things to do, I think this is great, right? So it's just a little easier for me to see. But do you notice how all of these are generic tasks for this week? Well, it's because that's what's pulling in from my Radius calendar, right? So if I select all, or I could bulk complete them. I wouldn't bulk delete because then that removes things. And then you're like, why didn't I have a record that I met with that person? For these kinds of things, it's not as important. But if you're talking about record specific things, I would just complete rather than delete. But here I could say, no, I'm not interested in knowing what my Google appointments are. I want to know what my appointments are. And you can filter by appointment, search. There's this little date range that will default for the week. So just know that you might need to expand that. I don't really have anything in here, so it's not going to show anything for me. But this is a really good way for you to sort through if you've got a lot of things on your calendar. You can also print summary. So this would be a print for, oops, I'm in the wrong. Okay, so that's how you would print that summary up. Let me go to my actual demo instead of my actual account. Okay, there we go. So here you can use these different kinds of filters like, how to sort. You could do the print calendar, you can do a calendar list view, and you can also just add an event here. Another really nice new feature that we've added in is that you can add a task for that person. Oh, it's not on this one. You can add a task directly in the leader of the client's file and then see it. Let me just say Medicare intake. And that's going to be for September 6th at 1 p.m. You'll set the time zone. This is by default your time zone. I'll show you a setting where you can have the text reminders and everything go out in their time zone. And then appointment, location, it could be a Google meeting, it could be whatever. Add task. And now that lives in your calendar and then also down here. Once you do the appointment, you can update it. You can also do this really nice feature. We did this for last year, so some of you might be familiar with it, but these anticipated outcomes. It's a really nice thing. So if you're completing an appointment, you can say, great, the sale was made, was debating between the CVS PPO Gold and Platinum, whatever, and chose Platinum. I don't know. It's probably a silly thing, but we'll save this change and then we will complete the task because now it's done. If you're on the AMS plan, you'll also have appointment outcomes as well now. So you'll have this little executive dashboard to see how many people have been creating appointments, how many people have been assigned. And then you can go also and pull a report in appointment reports. And then this is where you could say, I'm just going to do it from the beginning of the year because I don't have many examples in here till today. Who the scheduler of the appointment is, who the agent is, what the category is, what the outcome is, and the status. I'm just going to do a detailed report so I see everything. But again, that's where those outcomes can be really helpful. So if you are especially a team leader, I would see about using that outcome. I'm going to show you how to set all of this up in a few minutes, but I just wanted to flag that to you as a really nice feature that not a lot of people are using yet. Okay, so let's look at scheduling. I'm going to go to settings. Appointment scheduling. This is those appointment outcomes. Let's actually look at those first because that's the easiest. Appointment outcomes. This is where you can create your own outcomes. So sale made, let's say missed appointment and rescheduled. So you can add as many of these as you want. So maybe missed appointment needs to reschedule. 9. So as many of those outcomes as you want, customizable as always. You also have your reminder categories. This is really important. So when we get to especially the appointment scheduling and reminders, you'll want to set it based off of the category. Why? Well, not every appointment is going to have the same messaging. just like we talked about yesterday with analytics tables, where you could have a language preference or you could have a lead source and you want to market to them in the specific vocabulary that you're supposed to be marketing to them in. This is another way to do that. So here we can have appointment, or we could have Medicare intake, because that's kind of a different messaging that you're going to be doing for a new person with Medicare. So I think I already have this, but Medicare intake. And we'd have it be a task rather than a reminder. We're going to make sure that that's busy on our calendar because we do not want to double book ourselves. I'd want to show those appointment options. I'm going to show it on the calendar. I can even be creative with my colors, my text color. So fancy. And then hit create. Again, if you speak multiple languages in your team, you can also do Medicare intake Spanish, Medicare intake English. So very helpful. Go to settings. Go to appointment scheduling. You can see I've already added a ton of different schedules here. This is a demo account and it's messy. So let's say that we use that Medicare intake example. So it's going to be a longer meeting. At least I want to budget 90 minutes for it. Appointment schedule enabled. We can always disable it if we don't want it to be out there in the world anymore. For Medicare intake and my hours, maybe during open enrollment, I'm going to tweak my hours because I'm going to say I'm going to work until maybe 6 o'clock at night. And I'm also going to work on Saturdays. The number of days to schedule in advance, usually 2 weeks is a good idea just because you don't want to get too far out in your calendar. But during AEP, I would probably say 30. So that way they can, especially if you're going to start sending marketing messages out for your clients, you would need to do probably minimum 60 days in advance. Because if you're going to start sending October 1st, you might need to do that specifically for the ACA appointment. I'm sorry, the open enrollment appointments. Days before first appointment. I do not love 0 as the default. I think it should be 1. The reason is if you have 0, that means that they can book on the same day, which is fine if you're only doing group meetings, but it's not great if you come in at 8 a.m. and you have a surprise meeting. Okay, so then we're going to give a specific calendar link. So it's your Radius account information, then appointments, then the calendar that it is. So Medicare intake. The sales blurb is going to be information that they'll see as they're booking the appointment. So you'll want to say something like, thanks for signing up for a time. We'll be probably only an hour, but I like budgeting an hour and a half. So you can ask as many questions as you like. Oh, right. Just, like whatever your little blurb is for that. The instructions are more about the booking instructions. So choose a time from Monday through Saturday on the calendar here. You'll be sent an email and a text reminder. Blah, 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 right? This confirmation thank you page. Usually I would tell you never use a duplicate tab with Radius because that will affect your dialer. But in this case, I'm going to add a duplicate tab here because I need to grab my landing page here. All I'm doing is going into landing pages and choosing my landing page of meeting confirmation. You can edit this. This is the I guess my current landing page for this. We have a default in there for you for meeting confirmation. But just, create one, add one, or do whatever you need. So it's very easy. It works very similarly to the email template. So meeting confirmed, the path is confirmed. So this path is like this. So on the URL, it's bestinsuranceever.com, and the path is what page is it, and then what sub page is it. So path is confirmed. I like using a little spacer here, so that way you get some space at the top, and then you can add in a title. Your meeting is confirmed. Please watch the video below before our meeting, whatever it is, right? So you can drop in a video, you can drop in whatever you want here. So a nice little landing page for you. Once you've done that, you'll hit create, and then you'll publish it. Confirmed meeting. And then where it says published, yes or no, you're gonna hit the no to make it yes. And now that's live. You'll copy that path, that URL, you'll come back here and you'll paste that thank you page in here. This is very new and also very exciting. So for group appointments, you can now actually schedule group appointments. I would not use this for letting spouses book together. Just let them choose from an individual appointment slot. So that way you don't get like a spouse, two spouses and some stranger, right? That's not what you're looking for. This is just for group appointments, like this appointment here on this Zoom call. You can say, I will allow for 100 people to attend this seminar. But in this case, it's a Medicare intake. I'm just going to do one. What users does this apply to? So you can select all of your agents or only a few. You can also have the agents do their own appointment calendars in the account my information section. We'll go into that in a moment. We now have additional fields to request for the sign up. So if you want to know their prior insurance, you can add that in. If you want to add the plan requested, the benefits requested, whatever it is, you can add in your fields. So that way you add that in. Then you can sort it. So if I wanted benefits requested to be 1, then 2, and 3, I'm going to submit that setting. Let me just see what I labeled this as. Medicare intake. Yeah. Okay. Submit setting. Oh, my slug has already been taken. 2023. Okay. Now we're going to search for that. And this is how it appears. So remember when I said we were going to build that sales blurb? So this is the sales blurb. Thanks for signing up for a time. We'll probably only be an hour, blah, 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 right? It says my time zone because I am the client and I'm in Los Angeles, whereas my agent is on the East Coast. So here I can choose these times. I'm going to choose 11 a.m. And my name is Danielle Tester. test@email.com. My phone number. What do I bring? Is my question or no? I create that appointment and I get my landing page that we worked on. Now, if I go into my leads as the agent, Danielle Tester just came in. And it says she was created through appointment scheduling. This is really helpful. However, if you are sending your appointment calendars out to your clients, you are going to want to let them know that, hey, this is the information that I have on file for you. Please use that when signing up for an appointment. The reason is so let's say I, as Danielle Tester, go again and book another appointment. Let me just make sure all my info is the same. 702, I did that right. And then test at email. Let me go back to my little calendar link. I don't know why it's not letting me. Come on. Nope. Nope. Okay. So now let's say that I choose September 6th at 8 a.m. My information, because it's my computer, pre-populated on this form. So hopefully they do the same thing, but remind them about that. So Danielle Tester, test@email.com, same phone number. And now I create an appointment, second appointment. It will not create a new record this time because my information is the same. I'll just have my second appointment in the same file. So that's why it's important when you're messaging out to your clients, which we're going to be covering tomorrow, make sure that when you're doing a call for booking those appointments, that they specifically use the name, phone number, and email that you have on file. So we can cover that a little bit later if we need to and if we have time. I know that it feels like it's jumping around a lot. So let me know if you have any questions so far. I feel like a lot of you have used those things before. But so now I'm going to go back to settings, and this time I'm going to build a seminar one. So appointment scheduling, add new schedule. This is going to be 120 minutes. The category is going to be seminar. I guess I don't have that, or we'll do appointment. I would have something specific that's like seminar. And then this is going to be until 10 a.m. and it's every Tuesday. And they can schedule 30 days in advance because they do it regularly. Days before first appointment, they can come same day, doesn't matter to me. Join us. Build this out. Obviously, that's bad instructions. It would be much more interesting stuff there that you would need to do. And then I would select 100 people, and then I would be the one leading it. And then if I have like somebody else that needs to attend it, I would also put it on their calendar. I don't need any additional data fields for this specific example, so don't worry about that one. And then we have that done. I'm gonna find my seminar. And now I've got an appointment every Tuesday at 5 a.m. That's available for them to book up to 100 people. Okay. So that's that. I'm trying to think of best. Okay, so let's go on to the appointment reminders. So settings, appointment reminders, edit. And add a new reminder for the category of Medicare intake. So this is what I was telling you before, that like your category can really impact your messaging. So usually what you're going to do is when the reminder is created, you'll send an email with the template of appointment details. I would always recommend including an ICS appointment attachment so that they can actually just put it into their calendar and then send it to the record and create. Now, some people with very large teams, like when they're starting to use this feature, they'll also create another one. So I would hit create in this example and then add another reminder for the same appointment category. And then send it when it's created, either via text or an email. I'll just do text so it's simpler, to like the boss, right? So Busta Rhymes is my boss. And I'm just gonna say agent, booked an appointment for Medicare intake with so that way it says Danielle Bond booked an appointment for Medicare intake with Tamara Algonquin. So that's how it's gonna read to this person. So it's going to their boss specifically. I'm not gonna do that one right now, but I can also do another one for Medicare intake before the reminder time. So one day before or 15 minutes before the reminder time. If it's online, I would do a shorter amount of time. If it's in person, you might want to do like an hour in advance. But this is where you would use the custom date snippets of, we know what the time frame is, but we would want to add in the location. So it would say, hi, and then first name, oops. I'm looking forward to our meeting in 15 minutes at, see you then and there. Any questions, hit me back via text. Thanks. And you'd send that to the record, whoever booked the appointment. Now, again, this category can be super helpful. So let's look at a Spanish appointment. This is when that it would be hola, first name. I'm looking for, and then you would have it all in Spanish. So that's why those appointment categories can be so powerful and impactful. Any questions on the reminders themselves? Okay, then I'm going to go into building those templates for the emails. So I would say always start with your blank signature, just with CMS disclaimer. We do have an appointment details, a confirmation email. Let me see if that has that in there. We're going to be adding very shortly fields for how many plans you represent. If you don't do Medicare, I'm sorry, I talk a lot about it just because you guys have so many regulations. But for people who sell health and Medicare, which this is aimed towards anyway, we know that you now have that requirement for your CMS disclaimer, and we're going to be adding in fields of how many plans you represent. So in account my information, let's see if they put it in there right now. They haven't yet put it in, but it will show how many plans, or how many organizations, how many plans do you represent? So that way it'll just insert those for you. Let me see if they put it in SOA. I don't think they did, but. No. Also on this account, my information, while we're here, you'll also notice that there's this calendar link here. This is where, even if you don't use our appointment scheduler, you can put in your Calendly link. You can put in our appointment schedule link as well. So that's available for you there. And you can create your own appointment schedules here. So that way you could be like, okay, this is the Danielle version of this. And now I'm going to pop that into this calendar link. So it shows my availability and save that update. Now, when I go into a template, I'm going to use this blank signature with CMS disclaimer and just hit copy. I'm going to say appointment reminder for Medicare intake. I'm going to make it specific, not just a general appointment. Excuse me. We also now have a snippet for your agent profile image. So if you want to add in your agent profile, that's available. We'll cover that in greater depth tomorrow on the templates and automated workflows, but just let me know if we have time. I can totally come back to that. So hello, first name. Looking forward to going over your Medicare intake with you. It'll be around 60 minutes, but I budget 90 minutes so that you have plenty of time for questions. So we make certain you feel confident, whatever, right? So we're going to say all that. Then we're going to use the appointment details for your, so hashtag appointment, abbreviated, underscore date. Appointment underscore time, appointment underscore location. And then that will have those details for them. You can add in anything else you want. And then below here, this is where you're going to want to add in, I'm going to update this template for the new people, but it will have like I represent this many plans, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll also have the state and local or your state health insurance plans or whatever that is. So just know that you should have a CMS disclaimer here if you do sell Medicare or at least MedAdvantage. And also another thing that's a requirement, it's not a CMS requirement, but it's a federal Spam Can Act requirement. You do need to have your company's name and your company's physical address at the bottom of every marketing email. Now, I would consider an appointment schedule that they've booked specific times, not necessarily marketing, but I would just always err on the side of caution, especially because you can create a blank signature template that has all of the required information on it, and then just use that as the basis to copy things. Any questions on building this template and sending that messaging around? The other thing to note is if I would probably make one for leads, one for clients. So, or actually, I guess I would do it for both. I have the following details for you, or this is actually the appointment reminder. Sorry, my brain's not totally turned on yet. I'm on Pacific time and I'm burned out. Okay, so let me just save that. So now let's talk about building a template that's going to be like trying to get people to book appointments with you. I'm going to, again, copy that CMS disclaimer email, and this is going to be 2023 AEP calendar pitch number 1. This might be choose a time for your open enrollment review. So, hi, first name. I'm beginning to schedule appointments for this annual enrollment period. Please see my calendar below and choose a time. I have the following information on file for you. So please use this information to book the appointment. Or let me know before booking if I should update anything. And then you'd say name, and then you would use the little snippets or what they call merge tags in this little builder. So name, phone, email. Where's the records email? Here we go. So that's what I would do. So that way they have, they know what they're, because like so many people have like a million email addresses. I am definitely guilty. So if they give you the wrong email address, it would create a new record for them. Okay, so then what we're going to do is use this little button icon to say, choose a time here. And then I'm going to pop in my URL over here for my appointment scheduler for Medicare intake. So that was different than just my generic calendar appointment, which is the schedule an appointment now. So I'm going to say, I'm going to paste that there, appointments, and then now I'm all set to start using this in my workflows. Is there anything that you guys want me to go over a little bit more slowly? Obviously, the client work sessions next week are more about the hand holding. But this is more of an overview of the feature, but we have 20 minutes and I'm happy to, spend some time on anything that you guys have specific questions on. Just pop that into the chat. You can also use the raise hand feature if you would rather. I can then unmute you if you have a question. Let's see here. All right. Well, easy peasy then. Yeah, so definitely be on the lookout for the disclaimer thing. I'm going to be putting out a notice in the posts when that happens. That you'll need to add in the organizations and number of plans you represent in Account My Information somewhere. As soon as that's available, we'll do a post because that's important. But other than that, yeah, all right. We'll keep using the calendar feature. Let us know any feedback you have on it, and we will go from there. Thanks so much.